So, a lot of you have asked, and I haven't really had the chance to sit with all of my friends and teach them, but I recently learned how to knit. I'm not sure if you can see, but I learned how to cable stitch. And I have a lot of friends who are asking me, like, how to cable stitch. And I really wish that I could sit with all of you, like, one-on-one and teach you, but I know we're, like, all really busy. So, keep in mind, this is not your grandma's knitting project. This is a little bit more modernized. And I'm just going to teach you the difference between purling and knitting, because that will actually enhance your project a lot more, because there really isn't any difference. And so you want to start off with an easy pair of needles. These are wooden and they're easier to work with than these. And obviously these are a different size. Like, this would be for a thicker yarn and a thicker project, which is actually what I've been using, because actually the skein was actually very, very thick. Like, thickness of it required different needles. But we're actually going to use this yarn, and we're going to use these needles, but I do prefer that you would start off with wooden needles. And I think these are a size 11. So, thicker needle and size 11. So, we're going to do this really simple. We're going to start off with 10. I'm left-handed, so it might be a little backwards. So what we're going to do is we're going to cast 10 stitches on our first needle. 1, there's 2, and make them tight, because when you crochet, you make loose stitches. But when you knit, you want to tighten your project. So, let me show you. You just want to take it, and I think it's easier to do it by hand. Some people can do it with the other needle. I think they just, I don't know, I never learned how. And one more. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stitches. So first we're going to take these 10 stitches. I'm going to push them up because it's easier to pull up. I'm going to get some yarn and we are going to, for the first 2 rows, we're going to knit. I'm going to take, this is a knit. You want to put your needle underneath the stitch, pull it tight, wrap it around, and pull through and release that stitch. And now you've knitted on here. And there's going to be some extra in the middle. Don't let that confuse you. This is the tail of your project. This is basically the end of your project. So just be careful when you get down to this last stitch not to lose it, because it's easy to drop that stitch. I know I have, but you can actually pick it up as well. And I'll show you what to do if that happens. So you want to knit. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what I do when I get down to this one is I hold this and then I pull my project under. But you want to, let me show you. You want to hold that. But you want to pull your needle underneath and go under. And I'm having a hard time with it. Let me pull this away. So now it's through. Hold your tail so you don't lose it. And hold it with this thumb. And pull your stitch. Some people like to purl that last area because it would actually square out your project instead of making it round. But if you pull it nice and tight, I think you would have a nice first row. So your first row of 10 stitches, and you still have 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's a lot of counting in knitting because you want to make sure that you're not losing your stitches. So the next row, actually, because we just knitted that, is now we're going to purl. So what you do with a purl is you're going to do the opposite of what I just did, which was knitting. You're going to pull your string over to the side. And you're going to stick your needle in through like this. And you're going to wrap your string around and pull it the other way. So now you're going to have it where it's knitted on one side and purled on the opposite side. And now you're purling. I'll probably teach cable knitting in a later video. I just want to teach you the basics. So we're going to purl this next row. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do 4 rows. We're going to do 2 knitted and 2 purled. So I'll show you the difference between knit and purl. But notice how we knitted on one side, and this side we're purling. So it's going to make our project look even on both sides. And here's your last stitch. And we're going to and it's not going through. Usually when I make my stitches really tight, so because I don't want to lose my stitch, but at the same time, like when you make it too tight, sometimes when you get to the end of the project, it gets too tight to pull through. And I mean, you don't want to worry like that on your project, but anyway, so this side we have actually successfully done purling, and you'll see that they look just like this, and this is what you should have. So now that we're going to flip our project back into the hand, our working hand, we're going to knit on this side. So our string is going to be up here facing the end of our knitting needle, and we're going to knit 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. See, there you go. So now you have another knitted side, and if you look very, very closely, this side is a little bit more rough, and on this side you have stitches. That's the knitted side. That's the side that's knitted, and this side is purled. So now when you go back over here, you're going to purl. So you're going to face your string towards this end of your knitting needle, and you're going to, once again, you're going to insert your needle right here. It's going to go through the top, and you're going to wrap your string around this end. And I dropped my knitting needle out of this stitch, but that's okay. That will happen. You can always pick it back up. If I do have like an oops stitch, I will show you how to pull yourself out of trouble, like if you lose a stitch, but you can easily put that back up. It's very simple. It's actually one of the things that, it's one of the benefits to knitting that you don't have in crocheting. I crochet too, but I'm left-handed, and I don't have left-handed projects, but that's one of the things I like to do. I like to convert my right-handed projects into left-handed ones. But with knitting, it's pretty universal. You just have to learn how to, which hand it's more dominant to put your working needle in. So now we have, that's our 4th row, and we just did a purl on that side. So now you can truly tell on this side we have 4 rows of purled stitches, and on this row we have 4 rows of knitted. So actually, let's do 2 more rows of each. I have to move my leg. We're going to take our string, and it's going to face towards the tip of the needle, and we're going to knit this row. And I do this pretty fast. I mean, some people say that knitting isn't really fast. I think it is. And it's wintertime, so what's cuter than having a knitted scarf? And our last is right here. And now we're going to do one more purled row where we're going to flip our string. It's no longer facing the tip, it's going to be facing the other end of the needle. And we're going to stick our needle in one more time, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to really show you. But my project, my needle is going in through right here. And I'm going to pull my string out through the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now you have, now you have 6 rows, and you're at the start of something. Sometimes first projects end up being like wash rags, but this is your project so far. And if you have that, then you're on the right track, and you'll be ready to learn cable stitching pretty soon. So I will come back, I will make another video, and I will show you guys how to cable stitch.